For the conscious developing in oneself of the given impulses inherent only in man, I intend to recommend to you some of those simple exercises which were also previously presented in detail in the program of the institute founded by me and were to be explained to the pupils who reached the mesoteric group. I said simple because in various serious schools, existing even in present times, for the self-perfecting of man, there are, for the same purpose, very complicated exercises. For a real influencing of the common presence of those who do all these special exercises, and for an easier assimilation of what is required and necessary, you must know first of all that the obtained totality of results of various functions proceeding in the psychic life of people, which is called attention, is itself split automatically by the accidental surrounding conditions, as well as by an intentional force of will, into several definite parts, and each of these parts may be, of course, also by itself as well as intentionally, concentrated on something special with a definite intensity. For the given case, it is indispensable first to learn to divide one's entire attention in 3 approximately equal parts, and to concentrate each separate part simultaneously for a definite time on 3 diverse inner or outer objects. For the same possibility of a practical achieving of this aim, in the same mentioned detailed program, were indicated a series of exercises under the name of soil preparing. Although the exercises indicated in the circumstantial program were intentionally composed in sequence, and it was required to begin from number 1, yet for you Americans in general, on account of several misunderstandings in the past, I consider it most useful to start from number 4. This exercise, number 4, from the series for preparing the soil, is performed in reality thus. First, all one's attention must be divided approximately into 3 equal parts. Each of these parts must be concentrated on one of the 3 fingers of the right or left hand. For instance, the forefinger, the third, and the fourth, constating in one finger the result proceeding in it of the organic process called sensing, and another the result of the process called feeling, and with the third making any rhythmical movement, and at the same time automatically conducting with the flowing of mental association, a sequential or varied manner of counting. Here, there again arises the question of the poverty of the English language, this time in the sense that the contemporary people belonging to the English race, and you Americans also, who have borrowed their language and use it in your ordinary life, totally lack any understanding of the difference between 2 entirely distinct impulses of an average man, namely between the impulse of feeling and that of sensing. Since an understanding of this difference between these 2 impulses is very important for my subsequent indications concerning all the exercises required for you, as well as concerning the real nature of the psyche of man, I shall be compelled once more to interrupt the logical sequence of the elucidation of the theme I have begun, and again waste my time on explaining, if only approximately, for the present, this unexpectedly arisen philologically psychic question. In order to explain to you this very important question, the difference between sensing and feeling, I shall give you a corresponding definition. A man feels when what are called the initiative factors issue from one of the dispersed localizations of his common presence, which in contemporary science are called the sympathetic nerve nodes, the chief agglomeration of which is known by the name of solar plexus, and the whole totality of which functioning, in the terminology long ago established by me, is called the feeling center, and he senses when the basis of his initiative factors is the totality of what are called the motor nerve nodes, or the spinal and partly of the head brain, which is called, according to this terminology of mine, the moving center. Just this difference in the nature of these 2 unknown to you independent sources constitutes the difference in functions which you do not distinguish. For this fourth preparatory exercise explained by me today, first of all, it is necessary to learn with what exists in you now only as a substitute, so to say, fulfilling the obligation of what should, in real man, be self-willed attention, and in you is merely a self-tenseness. Simultaneously, to observe three heterogeneous results proceeding in you, each coming from different sources of the general functioning of your whole presence. Namely, one part of this attention of yours should be occupied with the constation of the proceeding in one finger process of sensing, another with the constation of the proceeding in another finger process of feeling, and the third part should follow the counting of the automatic movements of the third finger. Although this fourth exercise is the most difficult of all the number of exercises composing this series, yet in the given case, as I have said, on account of various misunderstandings, for you, in my opinion, only this exercise may on the one hand correct your errors of the past, and on the other hand prepare all that is required for the future. And for cognizing its importance and indispensability for you, as well as its real difficulty, it is necessary to do it many, many times. At the beginning, you must try all the time only to understand the sense and significance of this exercise, without expecting to obtain any concrete result, as only an all-round understanding of the sense and significance of this fourth, and for you, first exercise, as well as the ability to carry it out, will perforce make it easier for you to cognize the sense and significance, as well as the carrying out of all the subsequent exercises which are required for the acquisition of one's own individuality. I therefore advise you, so to say, to mobilize all your forces and possibilities in order that you should be able for a definite time not to be lazy, and at the same time to be, in relation to yourself, that is to say, to your weaknesses, quite merciless, because upon this first exercise depends your whole subsequent normal life and all your future possibilities, inherent only in man, according to law. And so, if you really wish to have in yourself that which alone can distinguish a man from an ordinary animal, that is to say, if you wish to be really such a one to whom great nature has given the possibility with the desire, that is, with the desire issuing from all the three separate spiritualized parts, and with the conscious striving to transform yourself into a, so to say, cultivated soil for the germination and growth of that upon which lay the hopes and expectations of the Creator of everything existing, then you must always and in everything, struggling with the weaknesses that are in you according to law, attain at any cost, first of all, an all-round understanding, and then the practical realization in your presence of this exercise just elucidated by me, in order to have the chance for a conscious crystallizing in yourself of the data still engendering the three mentioned impulses, which must be present obligatorily in the common presence of every man who has the right to call himself a godlike creature.